Hello everyone and welcome to Trapped by Opioids with me, Amanda Summers. I'll be walking you through this workshop today. So first we're going to just do an overview of what this workshop is going to be. We're first going to start with just education on what opioids are, how they affect us, where they come from, things such as that. Then we'll talk about ways to help yourself and loved ones. So you may not yourself be affected by opioids, but you may know someone close to you who is, and here we'll be able to discuss things to do to be able to help them. And last, we're going to talk about addiction prevention, so that way all of us can avoid being addicted to opioids if we ever use them in the future. So we're going to start with this video on what opioids are. Hope you enjoy it. It's about 4 minutes long, so stay with us.
Hello. Today we're going to be talking about opioids. So, what are opioids? Opioids are substances made from the opium poppy or their man-made equivalents. The poppy was cultivated in Mesopotamia and spread to every major civilization from Asia to Europe to treat pain. There are two classes of opioids: strong opioids, which include phenytoin, methadone, morphine, and oxycodone, and weak opioids, which include codeine, dihydrocodeine, and tramadol. The strong opioids can be 10 times stronger than the weakest opioid and are thus more effective for severe pain. Worldwide, it is estimated 69,000 people die from opioid overdose each year, with 15 million suffering from an opioid addiction. Opioid overdoses occur when high doses are used. This can lead to inadequate breathing and death. Opioid addiction is the frequent use of opioids to the harm of the person's physical, psychological, and social function, and it becomes central to their thoughts, emotions, and activities. If opioids are used regularly, a physical dependence forms, and they will experience withdrawal symptoms after stopping opioid use. These include strong cravings, sweating, insomnia, anxiety, and muscle cramps. So, why do people use opioids? Because it is an effective way for managing the two types of pain: neuropathic pain and nociceptive pain. Neuropathic pain is pain in the body that occurs from nerve injuries from trauma, cancer, or neurological diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. The second type of pain is nociceptive pain. This is pain arising from tissue injury and inflammation, such as toothaches, sunburn, and rheumatoid arthritis. The use of opioids produces pain-relieving effects including pain suppression, relaxation, drowsiness, and euphoria. It stimulates the reward centers in the brain for the release of dopamine neurons, which regulate feelings of pleasure. The speed and intensity of the drug's effect depends on how the drug is taken. If taken orally, the effects are gradual and are felt in about 10 to 20 minutes. If injected into a vein, the effects are more intense and felt in about a minute. When opioids are taken to relieve pain, the length of the effect varies depending on the type of opioid taken and history of opioid use. For many, a single dose can provide pain relief for about 4 to 5 hours. A single dose for chronic pain relief is about 200 milligrams per day. Adverse events and side effects occur with increasing dosage or with daily doses of 300 milligrams per day or more. These side effects include constipation, decrease in breathing, difficulty concentrating, vomiting, sweating, and loss of appetite. Additionally, opioid users can develop tolerance. This is a reduction in sensitivity to opioids following repeated use. This means higher doses are required to produce the same effect of pain relief. So, what treatment options are available for those with opioid dependence? In order for treatment to be effective, a diverse range of options are needed. This includes detoxification in combination with both psychological and pharmacological treatments. Treatment for opioid overdose includes naloxone, which completely reverses the effect of an opioid overdose by blocking opioids from binding to receptors in the brain. However, this will only work if naloxone is administered on time. For more information on opioids, please check out the Center for Addiction and Mental Health and McMaster University National Pain Center.
Okay, so I hope you're able to learn a bit more about what opioids are and how they affect us. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, before we really cover this slide though, I want you just to take a second and think to yourself. You can pause this video and think about the effect that opioids have from that knowledge, and like how that can personally impact you if you were to be on those, and how your life would be different. So just pause the video and take a second. Okay, I know that for me, opioids would really change my life to be able to have that addiction, have that dependency on them. It would cause a really big struggle for me and my family. So which is why I think it's so important for us to be able to discuss them openly, so that if people are wanting to change their lives, that they have the possibility to be able to do so. Now specifically for Michigan, Michigan's opioid use was above the national average. The percent of overdoses from opioids was also above the national average, which is why I think it's important to really focus on the people in Michigan to be able to help that, be able to lower them, to be able to be free from this addiction. 78% of drug overdoses in Michigan in 2018 contained at least one opioid, nearly all of them. So that says something for how accessible they are, how often people are using them, when 78% of all drug overdoses included an opioid. This resulted in 2,011 deaths from opioids. One of the big concerns to me, though, is from Health Affairs. They published this article, The Opioid Epidemic, A Need to Focus on Adolescents and Young Adults. And in this article, they said that 2 in 3 adults treated for opioid use disorder first used opioids when they were younger than the age of 25. So I think it's really important for young adults to be able to recognize that there is a really severe effect that comes when using opioids wrongly. And also to be able to know that, so in the future, if we ever are prescribed opioids, that we know the options, we know the route to take when using them, so that we don't have to be addicted. So how do we find help for those who are struggling with addiction right now? Well, first, talk to your doctor. They're the ones that prescribed them to you, most likely, or maybe that's where you started. So talk to your doctor. You can be able to figure out, maybe they can lower the dose. They can give you ideas to cut them in half so you can slowly get off them, wean yourself off them. However, that's not easy to do. A recovery from addiction is often very difficult and has a lot of side effects. So there's a hotline listed here that you can call. There's also our campaign website, opioid.org, that you can contact to be able to find more help. But there are facilities and there are treatments because people want you to be able to recover from this. And then tips to help a loved one. We have to be there for the loved ones, for the people who are struggling with this. The best way to do this for opioid users, like if you're overcoming a surgery or things like that, is to give them to someone else. Give them to someone you trust. And you as a loved one can hold them in a secret place. You can give the opioids to the loved one when they need them. And you can also be there with the doctor when they are prescribed them, so that you both can discuss with the doctor how best to use opioids, that you can be accountable to one another. It's like our check and balance system here. Another thing is, we're the closest ones to our loved ones. That's why they're our loved ones. So to be able to discuss and be open and honest with them when you notice signs of addiction is crucial to be able to catch the addiction sooner than later. Lastly, I want to talk about how to prevent opioid addiction. There are alternate methods depending on pain. Maybe you need opioids for a few weeks and then you can switch to another medication, or there is options and alternate routes, so discuss that with the doctors. To make sure you only take the opioids when needed. Again, have a loved one, have a check and balance system to make sure you're not overusing them. Stop them as soon as you can, switch to other medication that's available, and also dispose of the opioids properly. They suggest that they put it in coffee grounds or put it in a dirty diaper, somewhere that when you throw it away, you are not going to touch it again. Best way to handle it. But that is all I have for you about this workshop. I hope you're able to take some things away, some tips. And if you have any questions, feel free, again, to reach out to our website, opioid.org, and you'll be able to find more help. Thank you. Bye.